Hello all, welcome back to Dipforia. This is where I dip for fun. So tonight I'm going to attempt a marble with my Rossi Glam dip system. So what products am I going to be using this evening? Well, I'm going to be using my Rossi liquids. So I have my number 2 Rossi base coat. I have my number 3 Rossi Activator. I have my number 4 Rossi Top Coat. I'm also adding into my bunch my ASP Quick Dip Brush Cleaner and my ASP Quick Dip Nail Primer. Colors I'm going to be using are my ASP Quick Dip Crystal Clear to encapsulate. For the base on my marble, I'm going to be using 050 Mad About You. My marble is going to be DP699 Posh, DP653 Minty, and for a little sparkle, my 067 Endless Galaxy. I have my 2 makeup brushes. This is the one I use for just my plain powders. This is the one I use for my sparkles. And it's also important to wash these after use. I have my orange wood stick. I have my lint-free wipes and my Gelish nail surface cleanse. I have my round discus file just in case. My white buffing block. My 100 180 ASP. I have my UP200 and my new drill bits that I'll be using. And I have my well for my marble. And just one of my nail swatches to scoop out the color. As always, I'm going to end my manicure with my Beauty Secret Cuticle Oil because they take a hit, your cuticles, when you're buffing and you're filing. As you can see, I've already prepped my nails for my manicure. So I'm going to put on some number 1 nail primer just to make sure I have all those surface oils off. And then we're going to get started dipping. All right, so here's my 050 Mad About You. I usually just shake up my dip powders, but you are free to use an orange wood stick. And as you can see, there is the seal protectant. I'll take that off and show you. You can just take your orange wood stick, give it a good stir, mix up all those pigments. And since I've never done a marble before, I'm only going to do 1 dip of the Mad About You. And here's my base. And you always want to be sure that when you're opening up your base and you're getting ready to apply it, to make sure you stay away from the top of the bottle so that you don't seal fast your bottle. Get the excess off. And when applying, you always want to make sure that you're applying a nice, thin, even coat. I like to start 3/4 of the way down, push towards my cuticle so I don't flood my cuticles, and then apply my base. And this is something that I do slowly, just so that I don't make a mess. I always put my finger into the dip for at least 10 seconds. I really want it to adhere to the base. And then bring it out. Take my brush, tap off. And there, that's actually really pretty. I don't know if you can kind of see that sparkly in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dip the rest and come back. Okay, so I have gotten my first dip on, which is again my 050 Mad About You. And I don't know if you can see, but it definitely has its own sparkle to it. So I'm only going to use 1 dip, and then I'm going to prepare to set up for my marble. One of the other things I always like to make sure I do is after I get my first dip on, I want to leave it on there for a couple of minutes to dry nicely, and then I'm going to make sure that I dust away all of the excess powder. So let me dust off and come back and we'll try this marble. All right, so here's my ASP Quick Dip Crystal Clear. Shake that up a little bit. I'm going to put a couple scoops of that into my well. Like so. Not quite sure how much. 1, 2. So we're going to do, I'm going to do 3, I'm going to do 4. I'm going to do 4 large scoops. Okay. Close that up, put that over to the side. I'm going to take my brush, just going to wipe that off a little bit. And I think I'm going to start with the Posh DP699. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the Posh in. As you can see, still protected. Sometimes you can't get it off. No, there it goes. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit. You can see, I think it just, maybe that's a little bit too much maybe. And we're just going to kind of sprinkle it into and on top of my clear. All right, move that over. And then I'm going to take my DP653 Minty. Give it a nice shake. Again, seal protected. And I'm going to take about the same amount, kind of just scoop on the end. And we're going to just put that across there as well. Okay. And my 067 Endless Galaxy. Give that a good old shake. Get these seal protectants off. That's a good thing. And I'm not going to use a lot. I just want a little bit of sparkle. And going to do the same thing. Just kind of shake it on the top. All right, now I'm going to take my orange wood stick and I'm just going to kind of swirl it around in here like this. We have to add a little bit more color. Yep, I'm going to add a little bit more purple. And I think I'm going to add a little bit more Minty. And then we're going to give it another little swirl. Go this way. All right. Now, can you see that? That looks like a marble, right? All right. Now we're going to attempt to put this onto the nail and see what we get. Going to put on my base again. Very thin, even layer. And when it's time to put it into my well, I'm just going to lay it flat into my well. All right, so let's see. Take my base, make sure I'm getting off all that excess from the brush. Oh, I might have gotten off too much excess here. There we go. And put that on. I'm getting so good at wiping the excess off that sometimes I'm wiping too much excess off completely. Okay, now here's the test. I'm going to take that, lay that right into that dip, and let's see what happens. I'm going to give it a couple seconds so and make sure that it has a moment to dry. Tap it off. Well, it sure does look like it worked. All right. Let's do another nail. Let's give this a little stir again, just very lightly, because I don't want to disturb it too much. Let's see if I shake it in there. See if I get some of that color in the center there. Give it a little swirl. I might add a little bit more purple and a little bit more of the minty. And a little bit more minty. All right. Give it a swirl. All right. I'm going to do the next finger and see what happens. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've done all of them. And, you know, I don't want to get excited too soon, but it does appear that it may have worked. I am going to now dust off, and I have filled my well back up with just a little bit of the clear, just to encapsulate so that when I go to file, I don't file off all my color. So let's see what happens when we dust off some of this excess powder. Let's see what we got underneath. So you can almost see that marble coming up. Looks like on some nails, better than others. That one probably could have used a second one. That middle finger looks pretty good. This one has more green than purple. This one really has all of the colors, but that's okay. We're gonna finish it up and do a clear dip and then get ready to activate and see what the real story is here. Okay, so I've done my clear so that I can encapsulate that color. And now I'm going to use my number 3, my Rossi Activator. And let's see if this color looks like a marble. I'm very excited. I'm really hoping. And again, when you put your activator on, you want to make sure that you get it across the entire nail. I don't know if you can see that or not, like I can see it. Looks like on my ring finger, I could have done a little bit more, but that's all right. This middle finger is the one I'm interested to see, because it looks like underneath, like it really has a nice color of marble. I think my liquids are getting low, which is a good thing because that means I'm using them. Let's see this thumb. Okay, so you can see the thumb. That looks pretty good. It's a very light marble because I've used light colors. Like I said, this pointer finger could have been a little bit more. This one looks pretty good. A very little bit of sparkle. This one could have used a little more. And this one has a lot of purple and green, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to let my activator dry. And how you know that's dry is when you tap on it with a tool and it makes a click sound. I always wait at least 2 minutes, at least, before I start to file. I'm going to file, come back, and we're going to see what the end product looks like. Put our top coat on and see what we got. As always, I'm going to leave all my products that I use below in the description box, as well as the links to where I've purchased them, so you can get those products as well if you like any of the products that I've used. Please leave any comments or product suggestions for me. I'd love to hear from you. And we're going to go ahead and finish this up and come back. All right, so I've done all my filing and all my buffing, and I'm pretty slow at it still, so it's something that takes a lot of practice. I have my lint-free wipe, and I am going to just wipe down one more time before I put on my top coat to make sure I get all of my dust free. After I do all of my filing, I dust off with my brush, and I have been putting an extra layer of activator on at that point. So that's the reason why I'm going to wipe now. I want to make sure I get off all that extra dust before I put on my top coat and any leftover activator that may be left on my nails before I go and put on my top coat. I have noticed that that second activator seems to give me a better shine, believe it or not, with my top coat. All right, so I think all of my dust is off. Oh, so much for that lint-free wipe there. All right, now we're going to use number 4, which is our Rossi Top Coat. And as always, if you like these videos, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Leave me comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Any assistance and help is always going to benefit both me and you, because we can learn together. All right, so your first top coat, you just really want to do like 3 quick, nice, thin, even layers. 1, 2-ish, and 3-ish. And that will dry, and it will kind of look not really overly shiny at first, and that's okay. And it's going to be your second top coat that does that nice shiny job. Let's get this on the middle finger and then show you what we look like. I didn't use very much sparkle, but that's okay. We wanted just to see how this would turn out. So I haven't done these 2 fingers yet, but you can see on these 3 fingers, you know what? It didn't turn out too bad for my first attempt at a marble. Each nail looks very different. Let's do the thumbnail, because I'm really curious to see. And I'm going to need to clean this brush. It's getting a little sticky. I can feel it. Try to only do 3, but that doesn't always work out for me. All right, let's take a look and see. You can see on that one, the marble worked really well. Not too bad. Might as well do them all while we're sitting here. That was a little bit too thick. It's the one thing that out of all I definitely give Rossi 2 thumbs up for their products. They're really nice. The powders are really nice. I seem to have a problem with my top coat, though. Even though I clean my brush all the time, this top coat brush always seems to get really kind of sticky. So this is what they look like. I'm going to put another top coat on as soon as this dries a little bit, and then we'll call it a day. And not too bad for the first marble. I'm pretty impressed. Could be better, but practice, practice, practice. As always, I hope you all to be well, to be safe. Join me next time as I attempt to do something different, I hope, or potentially trial some other dip powder system that I may have. And again, any product suggestions or anything you'd like to see me demonstrate, please leave it down below in the comments section. And be well and be safe again.